So, who is this video for? Well, this video is primarily for entrepreneurs and high performers, but also this video can also assist you in other areas like your relationships and your fitness. In this video, I want to talk about distractions. And the reason why is because distractions can really take away your power to manifest your goals, because your main powers are your intention and your conviction. And these two things are accompanied by your ability to focus. So when you're distracted and you divert your attention, then your focus is being put towards other things that aren't conducive to what you want to achieve. So this video will show you how to remain focused during constant distractions of everyday living. Distraction can stifle your convictions and your intention, and being distracted can also stem from deeper internal issues. So there is a variety of reasons as to why distractions can occur. So let's understand that distractions are everywhere, and they take on many different forms. For example, distractions can come in the form of substances like smoking, or hardcore drugs. They can come in the form of binge eating, maybe video games, social media, and just anything that would allow you to divert your attention just for that moment's worth of escape. And there are other forms of distractions like your own internal self-worth and your own inner limitations. When it comes to dealing with distractions, I always say to understand instant gratification, because instant gratification gives you short-term dopamine spikes. And when you distract yourself and you're getting all this instant gratification from these various substances, because you're trying to escape from the life that you're in right now, your current circumstances. This is all because of the internal doubt that I mentioned before, because you have this internal confliction of, whether you're worthy of achieving something or whether you're qualified to achieve something. And because of this, you seek a form of escape. So susceptible to these distractions. And what I've realized is that when you are firm in your intention and you trust the process and you're taking the right actions and you're being consistent, you're less susceptible to distractions because you don't require a form of escape. When you question your credibility or your qualifications to achieve something, let's say in business, you question if you're capable of actually helping someone make a change or to help them get a certain result, or whether you're competent enough to achieve or to make a certain amount of revenue per month, for instance. That this doubt and this lack of faith, it makes you susceptible to falling into these distractions, because you might as well do that than to address the uncertainty of whether you can or can't succeed. So distractions are everywhere, and in essence, distractions can be anything, because you're only ever susceptible to it when you have these internal blocks. And just because I listed out a few common distractions, it doesn't mean that those are the only ones. It can be anything. For instance, you could even be watching this form of content as a means to distracting yourself from your own life. And you could be watching other people like this. You might even treat this content as a form of entertainment, all to avoid the actions that you need to take. You treat this video as just just another video in your watch later, or another video in your watch history. But then what did this actually amount to? It's just another video that you'll forget about a couple days from now. It's not going to make a difference in your life. And this will just keep on happening over and over again until you finally get your bearings and you address the uncertainty that you're experiencing internally, right? When you're susceptible to all these distractions and you find ways to escape from going down a certain venture in your life, then you'll find other things to do. And what I've also realized is that because you're so susceptible, you are a target of shiny object syndrome, and that doesn't always pertain to business. It's just in general. You're always focusing on the next best technique, the next best business model, or the next best strategy to make X amount doing X, Y, and Z. And you fall victim to that mentality of looking for the next best thing, but then those same internal beliefs crawl back up again. Because as you know, you cannot change the results in your life by just changing the actions. You must change your identity first, and then the actions will follow, and then you'll actually get the results that you want. But with this shiny object syndrome, what you've done is you've created a perpetual cycle where you're constantly avoiding going all in and taking the actions that you need to take, and you're doing other things under the guise of you not knowing if you could have done the initial thing first. But then once you jump ships and you're doing something new, you have a new strategy in mind, and your internal beliefs come back up. Oh, am I qualified to do this? Am I adequate enough to do this successfully? And then you'll jump ships again, and you'll move on to a different strategy. And it becomes a never-ending, perpetual loop of constant procrastination. And this becomes a very destructive thing. So, just understanding that is important, because usually when you're distracted and you're constantly putting yourself into a deeper rut by doing what you're doing, being told this by someone else is going to bring this to your attention, because sometimes you need to be told things by other people to really understand them. You might understand that you're being distracted right now, but you wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't experiencing any issues in your life. Me telling you the consequences of your own actions is going to encourage you to change. I'm also telling you exactly what's going on, and you're in this perpetual cycle. Things are not going to change in this current situation. No matter how many times you affirm into yourself that it will, it won't, because you're never addressing the core issue at hand, which is your identity. There will never be a difference unless you address that first, and you address, again, the actions that are necessary. Because the only reason you never took those actions is because you've questioned your qualifications. You've questioned whether you're worthy enough to make a certain amount of revenue per month, or whether you're worthy enough to help clients become successful in the endeavors that they're in, or any other area of your life. Just questioning your self-worth. And you need to address that and move forward. And what I would say to address this is, just understand, when you're distracted, what I've realized is that through my experiences and others, I've concluded that distractions always stem from something internal. No matter what, you're a lot more, how do I say this? You're a lot more easily influenced by other things in general. But when you're trying to avoid something, you'll take anything. It doesn't matter whether it's healthy for you or not. You'll treat that thing as a distraction, but you'll use it nonetheless because you want to avoid what you really need to address, like your actions and, of course, your identity, which is the most important thing. So, understanding the mechanics of why you're distracted, which you're distracted because of your own identity, and you don't want to address your limitations, so you seek a form of escape. And that's where all of these various substances that people use, they get addicted, they cause sometimes irredeemable damage to themselves because they want to avoid taking certain actions. Now, it takes a lot to get to that point, but it does happen. Understanding these mechanics will allow you to understand, okay, well, if I'm going to actually fix this, I need to address it. And when it comes to addressing it, just understand that you won't always be 100% self-assured or 100% confident. That was never really the point. If you never get outside your comfort zone, you can never step into that identity. It will never be truly possible. You first become that person, and it translates into your actions. And then over time, however long that could take, you will end up having what it is that you want. You become, you take action, and you acquire. But the becoming isn't necessarily instantaneous. In a perfect world, it would be. But in this world, it's not. We all have limiting beliefs, just a limiting identity that keeps us in a certain pattern, a certain bracket of circumstance that we have in our finances, our relationships, and etc. To achieve physical change, we must alter this identity first. Otherwise, our actions will be fruitless. And if you're a hard worker, this is very important, because you don't want to work against yourself by having a crappy identity that is a liability and it gets in your way. So that's about it for this video. The point of this video was to just bring to your attention the mechanics of what's going on. Distractions can be anything, including this video. This video can be a distraction if you choose to make it one. If you're watching this video to avoid something else in your life that you need to address, and you know it needs to be addressed, then that's your issue. Because this video will just be one of many. And just like this video being a distraction for you, this will just be one of many distractions that you're currently using to avoid whatever internal identity-based issues is going on within you. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. And share this video with somebody else who needs it, because they'll benefit from it too. And, you know, it helps people, right? If you want to work with me one-on-one, where we will dive into your own internal habits and really analyze your limitations and why you're in this loop where you're trying to avoid what needs to be done because of your own self-worth issues, I highly suggest you go in the description to schedule your free coaching session with me, where we will see if we're a good fit to work together. This is not supposed to be just any call. It's meant to really analyze what is keeping you stuck in your life and what you really need to address at the very core, which is your identity. At the core level, how to change from this stagnation and for you to actually have a breakthrough in your business or your job or your relationships. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.